I'm Coach Jason here at Art of War MMA. This is Anthony, one of our fighters. So we're just going to go over basically some options from our front headlock series that we work off of the fence, right? And so there's some unique options that present themselves when you have the front headlock on the fence. One of those being the fence crucifix that I like to do, which is not a very common thing. So I'm going to start with sort of the more common things that you see and kind of just briefly touch on details of those. And then I'll finish up with the fence crucifix, which is something I'm not going to say I made it up because nobody ever really makes anything up, but it's just a thing that I do that I haven't seen a lot of people do that puts you in a really nice position. So just to give a little context here, where the front headlock comes from on the fence is usually like any time where my opponent's head gets lower than mine. Like a perfect example would be if I'm in like a pull-out single to a body lock and I get like inside foot position here. I could turn him down in a hip throw. I could always ankle pick, but a lot of times people are good at defending that ankle pick, right? So your third option is like, I can't turn him down, I can't ankle pick, is to come over to the front headlock, right? So as I circle back to the front headlock, I'm kind of pulling down with this. So one of the most easy things you can do, and this is from wrestling coach Curtis that showed us this, is just like switching sides to a regular front headlock. So instead of having that underhook and chin strap, if I want to just get him in a front headlock, I can go from here to switch here, get that nice control. And of course here, if he's still on his feet, I've got legal knee strikes here that I can land, right? So it's very good in MMA to think about like throwing these knees as a preface to snapping him down, right? And then however you like to go around to the side ride, so that's a very traditional wrestling option off of that. You can switch to the front headlock, really good first thing to try. Another great option is as you switch to this, I can always pass to the center here, and now I'm just keeping that same hand on the chin and I'm just in my 10-finger guillotine, right? Again, like I'm here. It's not a difficult thing to just pass to the center of my belly button and kind of T-rex my arms, and I just keep my chin right over his belly button, and I really like to have my feet staggered for this one because what I'm going to do is like a scooping motion, so it's kind of more of a neck crank than a choke. When I get here, I'm going to scoop, okay? Sometimes their head will pop out. Now I'm right in on a super easy double leg entrance, so that's like 10-finger guillotine. Sometimes people tap to that. It's pretty nasty when your butt's against the wall. Sometimes their head pops out, easy double leg. Another really common option, one of our coaches here, Coach Chris, is really good. He finished a couple of fights this way. If you have this situation here, a lot of times they're expecting the guillotine on this side, so you can kind of just pass through to that high-wrist guillotine on the other side, just getting that wrist to the clavicle. The cup and saucer grip is like very nice when you have somebody against the fence, right? And I'm just bringing those elbows together using my hips, right? So that's a couple of really nice guillotines you can work off of the fence, as well as we've got that front headlock option. So those are pretty straightforward. A lot of people do those. The third thing is my fence crucifix, okay? And again, a lot of times people don't see this coming for whatever reason. But this also involves, again, his head's lower than mine. I've managed to go here. I'm basically going to pass his head over to the other side, and I'm going to put my foot in like this, and I'm going to make an S grip right here, okay? So all I'm doing here is like bypassing this 10-finger guillotine, and I'm literally just going here, and I'm just trying to connect, okay? The nice thing about this is I can either throw him immediately or I can, again, now I've got strikes that are legal, right? And it's hard for him to block because his hands are in a crucifix position, okay? So I've got legal knees to the body here, legal knees here. If he goes down to a knee to avoid getting kneed in the head, now I just turn, and then when I go to this old school neck crank, that knee is gonna go right under his armpit. I'm gonna typically sit that through. I'm gonna get very low, and I'm gonna walk my fingers like this, and then I'm gonna drop my elbow, and I'm gonna sit back, okay? It's a neck crank, it's very nasty. In training, typically, if you get somebody in this, I'm not looking to hurt my training partner's neck, I kind of just release it, but now I'm going right to my mounted crucifix. So not only is that a good thing to know as a backup plan in your fights, but just for the safety of your training partners, it's kind of a nasty neck crank. So that's sort of like the details to finishing that old school crucifix neck crank. That leg goes through. I walk the hand out, I drop the elbow, and now I can really have his neck in there and put a lot of pressure on that. Okay, so one more time I'll show that option. I've got him passed through to the fence crucifix. I'm striking so he goes down to a knee to avoid getting hit in the head, right? Because it's no longer knee. I can still knee him in the body, but I can also just now, he has no base, slide that knee under there, get a good base out there, walk your hand out, drop your elbow, come back, let your training partner's head go. Now I'm right in mounted crucifix. Whatever you like to do from mounted crucifix, triangles, etc. Great place to be. So that's kind of the main thing that I like to do when they drop to a knee. If they stay standing, I'm just going to back roll to a one-arm guillotine. I'll show you how that works. So boom, I've passed here. I want to get to the mount position. All I do is I've already got this knee. I'm just literally going to back roll over the opposite shoulder, whatever side his head's on. I'm going to back roll over the other shoulder. When I do that, I walk this hand up and I keep my hips up so I have space. I'm going to thread a one-arm guillotine in. I'm going to thread this high to my own chest. Now I'm going to drop down to a grapevine and I'm going to side crunch, right? So once I get to this position, I'm kind of up on my head so I can walk this hand in really deeply. Now I just plant it on my own stomach or my chest, grapevine, and I'm going to do a side crunch to finish that one-arm guillotine, okay? It's a weird looking takedown, but it's extremely high percentage because the guy's arms are all bound up. So one more time. Again, I've passed his head over to the fence crucifix. I decide that instead of wanting to necessarily drop a lot of shots here, I just want to go right to mount position and finish. I'm going to back roll over the opposite side from where I have his head. I'm going to walk this hand up right here. He can't hand fight now. I walk this hand through. Now my hand's on my chest. I'm going to drop down. Right? And now I'm just applying that side crunch and extension pressure to finish that one-arm guillotine. So again, you know, it's not like there's nobody out there doing this technique. I just haven't seen a lot of people doing it. And it's like, it's not that hard to get into. If you like the front headlock series off the fence, it's a very easy transition to get into that fence crucifix, and you got some great options from there.